Judy, welcome back. And here's the same question I guess you would have answered, gosh, what, two, maybe even three times now? And it's, who are you?
Oh my gosh. Who am I? The question of all questions, isn't it? It would be fun to go back to our previous 2 episodes and see how I've evolved over the years, because here's who I am, and I knew you were gonna ask me this question, and I've been thinking about it, and, I'm on press for this new book, and so I'm getting this out, like, "Who are you? What do you do?" So, like, really, Judy, who are you? Old me would have been like, I'm a keynote speaker and an author and a blah, 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 blah. And I would have said all of these things outside of me that weren't really me. But if you really want to know who I am, I'm a dream catcher. I'm an
Yeah,
artist. I'm an artist. I'm a seeker. I'm a seer. I'm a guide. I'm a student of Earth School. I am obsessed with growth and change and reinvention. I am a self-expressionist. I have crowned myself, Mark, the queen of self-expression, and I do that unapologetically now. I used to like hide from that, but I'm like, nope, that's why she's here. So I really treat my life like art, and I'm a spiritual being, right? And I
yeah,
am I am deeply curious about and deeply intuitive and deeply interested in the way life works and the way we work inside of life and how we can be more attuned as we grow and as we change and as we evolved. So yeah, that is who I am.
love
I'm
it.
I'm a student. I'm a student of self-expression and a guide for brave humans, really.
What do you think? And because I know, I mean, I did listen back to your episodes, and there's definitely through lines there, which you would expect. But what I love about a question like that, because I answer it or ask it to myself every now and then, is of course we evolve, right? And
Right.
so what I'd love to know out of that answer, what feels, I guess, what elements of that feel like they've evolved the most over the last, I don't know, 6 to 12 months kind of thing for you? Like, what's really come into your frequency that's, maybe a bit different?
I think the spirituality piece,
Mm,
big time, like owning that and saying that. And then I'm a student of spirituality, meaning I'm
yeah,
on
like, what is
this
that
like
for you?
yeah, so I'm like kind of on this relentless pursuit of self-discovery. And I love learning about myself because I feel like the
Sure.
more I know myself, the more I can be myself. And the more I can be myself, the more effectively I can lead myself. But what has changed is the world and the way I was living was very opposite of that. I think we lead with leadership strategies. We lead with system and strategy and the best planner and the best, you know, systematic tool, the best leadership trainer, get the hire the right coach, get the shaman, we do all these things outside of us that are great, and I love a lot of that stuff, and I do it all.
Yeah.
I'm as woo woo as you can get. But if it's not yours, if it's not really for you, it could work for a while. But if it's not really for you, if that system, that tool, that strategy, that thing is not for you for real, it won't stay with you, and you won't want to stay with it. So I have found that we almost need to inverse it, right? Meaning everybody's telling you to be you, be authentic, be yourself. But most people are walking around with like, who's me?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
who be me? Who like it me, but who is me these days, right? And I'm
Yeah.
about to turn 50. I turn 50 next year. And I think the older you get, the more you're like, okay, like, yo, I should really like, who am I now? Because I think you're always evolving. So I'm now in this inverse where I'm like, oh, who go figure out who you are. Like, who am I? That way I can really then like once you know yourself, you can be yourself. And when you can be yourself, you can effectively lead yourself. So instead of leading with
Mm.
system and strategy, I'm leading with rhythm and spirituality and really making sure I know who I am so I can go employ tools and systems and strategies in my life that feel right for me right now. And so that's I think what's changed the most. I used to always say I liked that. I used to always act like I liked that and I was like, "Oh yeah, I believe in all that stuff, but I wasn't practicing it. I wasn't really doing the work. I wasn't really asking the questions. And,
What
you know,
changed?
I completely lost myself and
Mm.
lost a lot of money, Lost a lot of time, lost a lot of conference. We'll edit that out. Lost a lot of confidence, lost a lot of mojo. Um, and it set me on like this like kind of like dark spiral of like um sadness and darkness and questioning everything at times, even my own existence, because I had just gotten so lost from self because the noise was so loud. Everybody's opinions. Like, I think you get to a place of, there's this place you get in success. I write about this in my new book. I call this the money grabbers. I call these people the money grabbers. Okay. So you get to a place of success and you do something in your life. And I had built this like keynote speaking business from scratch. Right. Um, and I got to a place where like, I was doing pretty big things. I made my first 7 figures. I was like, "Yo, like, self-made, like, what is happening?" And you start coming into a level of success and a level of money, and it starts to get noisy. And people
Mm,
start coming around. They see your success. They either want a slice of it or they want to come in because they know they can sell you something. And so there's people coming at you. You start getting more followers, more friends, more people in your network, more industry colleagues. I'm doing air quotes there, all this stuff. And you got a lot of people that go, "Oh my gosh, if you want to get to this level, here's what you got to do. And if you really want to do this, you got to do this. Oh my God, everybody over here is doing this. Have you thought about doing this? You really need this agency. You really need this. But if you really want to scale, do you have funnels? Do you have courses? Do you have this? Do you have this? Blah, blah, blah. Who's public?" And all of a sudden you start going, "Oh, okay, 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 okay." And you start grabbing all these things. You start writing checks, writing checks. Okay, cool. Well, fix me. I got to get to the next level. So I started writing all these checks, Mark,
mm,
to all of these people outside of me that weren't me because I thought they could help me get to the next level or fix whatever was starting to feel like kind of broken in me, or I was kind of getting bored and I was kind of questioning everything. I was asking for a lot of opinions and I couldn't make a decision because I felt myself changing, but I didn't know what was next because I had hit this level. So I started writing all of these checks and everybody's getting rich off of these insecurities I had, but I was like over here going soul bankrupt.
ooh, powerful
You see what I'm
lines there.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I lost myself. Like, I just was like, "Well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And I did not even know what I freaking thought anymore. And because of that, Mark, I literally hit a brick wall in my business, in my life, in myself, because it became my expression was becoming chaos. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
maybe it's disco balls, maybe it's this, maybe it's a planner, maybe it's a workbook, maybe it's a workshop, maybe it's a new keynote, maybe it's this conversation, maybe it's this. And what do you think? 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 When the whole thing that got me to my level of success, the peak of my success was me only asking one question always. What do I think?
Mm,
Yes, we have trusted advisors. Thank you for, yes, people that we know are just going to affirm what we already know to be true. But I had a really big gift for listening to myself. And somewhere along the way, I let the blinders down, I let the algorithm take over, and I stopped listening to myself. And I was so worried about what everyone else thought that I stopped creating and making and sort of being based on what I thought.
yeah.
And that's the real creative flex because soul knows. Brain pulls you into past. Brain's awesome. It's here to keep you safe. But it's like this internal auditor that's constantly going, you know what, Judy, last time you did that once and it didn't work out. Let's never do that again. You know what, Judy, you tried that with the presentation and it didn't work out. People looked at you where that one time you wore that. I'm here to help you and keep you safe. I'm going to protect you. So I'm going to pull all these old mistakes, failures, pain points, and I am going to keep you safe right back here. It's pulling you back, back, back. But soul's like, ooh, I know. Here's where we're going. Here, I have goosebumps as I tell you this, Mark. Like,
Yeah.
that's so, like, I feel it. I'm so, like, in flow with you right now. I don't know. I think there's a lot of energy in the world, but that is soul. So, like, I had to hear her again. And the only way I could do that was by self leading myself into the journey of self discovery. I had to, like, wake up 8-year-old Judy. I had to study human design. I had to sit with the healers. I had to put down my phone. I had to go off social media. I had to take a lot of long walks without anything. I had to
Mm,
sit with the big questions. I had to call my dad, interview my aunts. I had to like literally do the work. Who am I today? Who was I at 8 before the world got a hold of me? What do I really care about? What do I value? What's all this stuff. So it's the work. And the only one that can do
yeah.
it is you. And so that is a really long answer to what has changed. Like I
I know
literally now take this
everything.
like dark night of the soul, awakening spirit. I had someone come into my DMs like, "Can you not?" 2 years ago, and she goes, "Judy," she's a dope DJ. She goes, "Judy, this is gonna sound really weird, but she's also a spiritual baby, kind of like us. She believes in herself and something bigger, and is always sort of cosmically pulling towards just a more personally developed her." And she goes, "This is gonna sound really weird, but girl, have you had a spiritual awakening?" And I literally read it, and I had to Google. Well, I went to the chat, and I was like, "Chat,
Yeah,
what's a spiritual awakening?" And I started reading. I'm like, "Ooh, there's these 7." And I'm like, "I think I'm having one right now," you know?
yeah,
So, yeah, I think I woke up. Like, I woke up because I had to, because I was gonna lose it all if I didn't, and I love what I do too much, and I love who I am too much, and I love this mission I've been given, way too much to allow that to
yeah,
happen. So I had to check myself before I wreck myself. Thank you, Ice Cube, for letting me borrow that quote. But I had to, like,
y
really check myself because I was about to
yeah,
wreck myself. And spirituality and going on that journey of self-discovery really saved me, and I turned it into my latest book, Everything I
yeah.
Learned.
So I have to like, practically speaking, how did you manage? Because there's like, the theme I'm hearing, and I fall into this all the time as well, and it always amazes me because it's like, yeah, of course, we have to, like, quiet the mind, we have to slow it down, we have to ask the questions, and, like, it always comes back to all the ancient teachers provide that guidance and so forth, and it's like we know that, we ignore it, then we come back and so forth, but then there's also a reality of, like, you still need to eat, and you still do have a
Pay the bills.
business. Yeah, all of that kinda stuff, so I guess I asked practically speaking, 'cause I think there's a lot of people listening out there, and myself included, around, okay, so was that, like, in the mornings, you took some time and you tapped into the human design, do some journaling or whatever, and then, the day unfolded, like, what did that, or was it, like, big blocks of time where you just disconnected, and it could be all of that, but just, I guess,
Yeah.
what was your recipe so that we can, we don't need to copy it, but we can, like, "Oh, that
Yeah.
works for me," you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah, please borrow, steal, copy, borrow anything from this conversation that inspires you, because if you're hearing it and you're here, there's a reason. This is not by accident. This conversation we're having
Yeah.
here, all of us together today. So, um, oh my gosh, I gotta pay my mortgage. I gotta pay my bills. I am running a business. I got team to pay. So yes, it's not like I went and sat with the shaman in Sedona for 3 months and could just like tap out of this. Like, no, like a girl's gotta work. And so I kind of like put my corporate keynote speaking business in a box. And it was like it's my gig. It's how I paid the bills, and it still is. It's the love of my life. Speaking's my favorite thing to do. But I made sort of my journey of self-discovery my side hustle, and I
Mm,
would schedule it, and specifically, I would schedule it on Fridays. So I call Fridays, and since time, I wrote about this in my first book. Fridays have always kind of been my freestyle Fridays, and so I kind of keep them really flowy and loose. Now, of course, if a client wants to, we're going to close some business, and that's the only time a client can get, I'm going to take calls on a Friday. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I kind of keep my Mondays and my Fridays loose.
yeah,
Loose, no Zooms, no interviews, no press, no selling, to kind of ease into the week. So I would build it in there, and I would do it first. I would do it first. Um, I would eat the frog, so I would study a little in the morning. My book was therapy, the poetry, so much poetry in my
yeah.
book, so the practice of writing poetry regularly, yeah, weekends, just like the side hustle when I was building my speaking business, Saturdays, Sundays. I think this is Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way. I do those creativity dates
Yeah, yeah, I
weekly,
love that.
where I get out of my environment on purpose regularly, at least once a week. I have this obsession. I usually do this on Thursdays, where I'll take my office to like a super dope hotel lobby, like the Four Seasons
Oh,
over
we're
there
like the
in like
same
Troon.
human. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah, like I'll go to the Four Seasons, and I'll bring my laptop, I'll get dressed up and
yeah,
or whatever. And I'll order, sit in the gorgeous, the fires are roaring,
yeah,
right? And I'll get a beautiful cappuccino, a latte, and I just literally move in. I'll go to the
yeah,
JW Camelback. I'm giving you my places right now. I'll do that, and
yeah,
then I'll end my day with a little Cadillac margarita. You see what I'm saying? And I watch the people, and I collect inspiration, and I work, and I take calls. But those things have helped me, and so it's like I build it in. So the answer to your question is, yeah, no, I didn't go sit in Sedona with a shaman for 3 months. I did not dip out of my career. This became like a priority, and it's like I
yeah.
scheduled it. I scheduled it, and it's that self-leadership piece that is so important, like, no one's coming to do this for me, so, yeah, I do my sabbaticals, and I book my solo trips, and I do go to Sedona, my aunt lives up there, and I love things like that because 'cause I'm 90 minutes away, but I can do these right here, and you know what I heard yesterday? I'll have to tell you this as we wrap up this thought. I'm in this I love being a student. I'm in this manifesting, like, even before I probably wouldn't have said this out loud because I'd have been like, I don't want anyone to know. But now I'm like, ooh, I want everybody to know. I'm in this manifesting masterclass. It is so amazing. This woman, Samantha is taking us through her like frequency formula, and
Yeah,
she's a PhD. She's got multiple degrees, a clinical a trauma psychologist. She's come through cancer 3 times, and it's just really manifested. Air quotes manifested. We work for our manifestations; they don't just happen. We work their intentions, getting attention.
sure.
So anyway, I'm in her class, and it's just expanding me on so many levels. And she ends with a Q&A section, and a woman spoke up and said, she comes off of mute, and she goes, all right, I get this manifesting thing, and I get that you want us to do all of these things, but I got 4 kids, and my house is crazy, and I got a blended family, and I can't get any quiet time. I have to come to my car, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Like, she was like, kind of like real talk. Like, how
Yeah.
am I supposed to get this like here? How do I hear my soul when it's so loud? And her response, and I'm going to kind of cliff note it. She said it's so much better and so much more beautiful, but I have not forgotten it. She's like, honestly, it's in the chaos. If like it's there. So you can't control external forces. If you can get silent there, if you can be present there,
There,
you
yeah.
can be present anywhere, baby. She goes, so maybe that is your first manifestation. Maybe the thing you need to ask for right now is not the money you want, not the peace maybe it's like this. Now, maybe it is manifesting the peace she wants wherever
Yeah.
she is. Maybe that's our first assignment, not the car, not the money, not the thing going right with your kids, all this stuff outside of you. Because if you could fix peace and you could get that stillness and that peace and that sureness in yourself anywhere, just imagine what you can do. And Sam said that she went to Times Square, and she took herself to Times Square and sat in the middle of Times Square. And she did this on purpose last year. And she goes, she sat on a stoop, and she said she dropped in. And she's like, in the
Mm,
middle of Times Square, I probably had one of my more prolific moments with myself. So if you can do that, you can get still and be
yeah.
still anywhere, because we can't control external forces. So all that to say, you are up to you and your self discovery journey, your spirituality, your success, sort of however you define it. That word's weird. It can go a lot of different directions. It's really up to you. And so I just kind of go get it for myself in the little pockets
Yeah.
of time that I have. And it's not perfect, and it is chaos, and there are good days. And sometimes you need to take a minute off of it. Like, sometimes I'm like, my job is to
Oh,
not
yeah.
always be in personal development. Like, sometimes, Mark, I have to be like, enough.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
Totally.
Take some time off the books, the courses, like, we're good.
Yeah.
Maybe no
I'm
sage
wisdomed
for a
out.
week. Yeah, like, that is not my true purpose, right? I'm also here to
Yeah.
be in receiving and enjoy, and to let the universe cook for me, and then to enjoy the meal
Yeah.
it's provided,
Yeah.
right? To not always be fixing myself, you know?
Totally, totally. But I mean, that's where I think the beautiful gift of this kind of work is that the more you do it, the of course, the more self-awareness that you're building, and you catch those signs. You're like, "Okay, Judy needs a break here." Like,
Yes, it's awareness.
it's when your practices start to kind of self-sabotage you in a way, and that, like, that is legit. That does happen, right? And there's not a lot of people that talk about that, but
It's
it happens.
legit.
It
It's not all
happens.
roses and daisies, and this
Yeah.
SHIT ain't easy, right? But
No.
it's discipline. People don't realize,
Yeah.
like, air quotes manifestation, all that abundance, like, this stuff requires, it's like fitness. You want to, like, it's all discipline. And that is
Yeah.
self-leadership. Like, no one's coming. So
Yeah.
so you're kind of up to you, and so you can make excuses all day long, and we're going to have seasons, and we're going to need to come in and out of things, and it's not perfect. But you're right, you said the big word, it's awareness. And I think for me that has been huge. And now I know when tension shows up for me, and this is a big one. Write this one down if you're listening. When I heard this, I was like, oh, I get it. Tension in your body, whatever that is, anxiety, depression,
Mm.
anger, actual tension, backaches, headaches, bitterness, jealousy, all this ick. Any tension you have in your body is a red flag. It is a signal that you are deviating away from who you are here to be. what your soul really wants to do.
Yeah.
It's your body going alert, alert, alert. Mine always shows up as bitterness. So this is awareness. So when I like mine is bitterness, it'll be me being like, oh well, must be nice. Well, easy for her. She's got this or they have that or psh, no.
Yeah.
Like I get bitter.
Yeah, I'm
And
the
whenever
same.
I feel bitterness, I'm like, and this is such a human design thing, like knowing this
I was
about
gonna say
myself.
that's how I only know this because of human design. I'm
So I
like,
love it.
"There
Oh
it
my god,
is."
can we nerd on that for a second? What are you, by the
Oh,
way?
yeah. I'm a projector.
Me
4-1
too.
4-1 yeah, so surprise, surprise, right?
We are so we're only 20% of the planet. Did you know
I
that?
know. I know,
It's
yeah,
so
and
amazing.
apparently
I'm a
yeah,
4-6. I'm a 4-6. Okay, so we'll
okay,
put that in a box. But I mean,
sure.
human design has changed my life. But yeah, bitter. So now I know. So back to awareness. And to land this plane for you, now I know. I'm like, ooh, old Judy would have just brushed past that. Or went
Yeah,
and had a cocktail and just been like, and been more bitter with my husband who would, whatever, or someone whoever would listen to me
yeah,
being bitter. Right now, I'm like, no, 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 no. Stop that. Fix it. What's out? What's out of alignment? What are we not
yeah,
doing? What are we not saying? Who are we not being? Because your body's telling you.
totally.
So I think awareness is really like, gosh, that's it. It's just an
That
awakening. So imagine where aware people in organizations, how much more will get done.
yeah. Well, this is a I mean, you set me up really well. This is a perfect bridge because just just a small further geek out on human design.
Okay, please. I
Um,
will geek out all day with you on this.
it's well, I think I did my first profile or reading, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or something, and it was just
Ooh,
I'm sure it was the same experience that you had where it was like, "Whoa, like,
whoa.
so that's why." Like,
Oh,
that's I kept saying, I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense, so that's why. That's why I don't resonate with this whole flow," and so forth, right?
100%.
And then to the point now, I actually have 2 people that we're exploring some collaboration, some work with. I'm like, "You gotta do your human design, send it over, and we're gonna put it together and see how" like, we don't start the conversation till I know how we're gonna work together. It's so
100%.
powerful. So powerful.
So
So everyone and you're doing human design, like,
well,
readouts
I
and
opened up
packages,
a
right?
soul diving practice. This has been a dream of mine for
Yeah,
years. Well, I've been in study, I've been in practice of it myself, like you said, for a few years,
sure.
and I'm getting certified and all this stuff. And it's changed my life that much that I get asked for it all the time. So I am self-generating, not AI, not like I don't have those little quizzes online or anything like this isn't a quiz online. This is like a
Okay.
40-page report where I'm generating these soul dive reports. I layer it with my self-expression Holler methodology, and then I get on like a
Oh,
1 hour,
fun.
90-minute like private session with people. They're called soul dives. So I opened up a
Soul
soul
dives.
diving practice just to sort of, and we should link it in the bio if anybody's
Yeah,
interested. But yeah,
soul
I take
dives.
people on this journey. So it's like my projector, we're projectors. We're pretty we're a little we can really see. We are the guides of the world. We can see deep,
Yeah.
deep, deep, deep. This is Mark, this makes so much sense that we've always been connected. Like, by the way, because and it's why I always feel like I don't fit into a I haven't really felt like I fit into the speaker community and some of these more extroverted generator manifested like all this energy. I've always felt a little bit like an outlier. And I'm like, oh great, nothing's wrong with me. Actually, everything's right with me. And I don't need to, hustle
Yeah.
in that direction. But you know, I now take people on these sorts of similar journeys of self-discovery, like pairing my intuitiveness with my human design practice, with my self-expression methodology to kind of soul dive with people so that they kind of can unlock like it's like almost like someone said this to me 4 years ago and it was like why I said yes. She goes, "If I could hand you a map that literally revealed," and I'm not being dramatic here. I don't know how you feel about it, but this
Yeah.
is like I feel so protected. She's like, "If I could literally hand you a map that shows you the key, your pearl in Gene Keys, the key to your prosperity and your life's purpose, the whole reason you're here, when your conditioning is healed, when
Yeah.
the shadows are like listened to and put to sleep and you wake up, like if I could give you your life, would you want it?" And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, she's got to be kidding. And I mean, it's changed my life. I've never looked
Oh,
back.
same.
And everything you're seeing, Mark, over the last 3, 4 years of my physical, my physical transformation, my creative, my visual identity, the way I write, the way I speak, that is all because of this practice because it like snapped me awake. I was like, "Oh, I've always been in the right neighborhood. I'm just moving into
Yeah.
a new house and now I know where I'm going. I know how to paint the walls. I know how to do my yard. I know why I'm here. And it's just giving me it's like confidence. I no longer get jealous. I'm not bitter as much because I know my path. I'm not like, "Oh, look at her.
Mhm. When you
I want to
catch
do
it.
that."
Yeah.
Now I'm like, "Oh, that's good for you." Ooh, but I'm over here and
Yeah.
I know where I'm going. Yeah. So I
Totally.
love it.
It's
My
so
projector friend, I love it.
yes, it makes I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like, even as you're describing, some of the time to think and the hotel lobbies, I'm like, God, that's the same way. And so once you
Yeah.
know this stuff, like, then you can't not see it, obviously. And for me, at least, like, I don't make any decisions, especially in the business
Not
world,
one.
without, like, just taking a pause and, "Okay, so where does this fit in?" Because I think for me, what's been most helpful, it it helps you avoid what may on the surface look like kind of the shiny objects or like, "Oh, yeah, like, of course I need to do this," but, like, do I really? Right? And, like,
Do I
usually
really?
exactly, and it,
Are
like,
you an
just puts you
emotional
back on
projector?
course.
Are you sacral? Are you emotional or are you do you know?
Uh, I think no,
Like your decision authority, like how you're supposed to make decisions. Do you know that part of your chart offhand?
I have to let it sit,
Yeah,
so
so you
that
might
may
be an emotional projector, me too.
emotional, yeah,
So
emotional,
that
yeah,
is like I always tell people if you don't know what to do with human design, if there is one thing you could do when you read your chart, go to your profile and look at your strategy and authority. And your authority
yeah,
will tell you it is literally the thing in your chart that tells you how you're here to make decisions in this world. So if you are like
yeah.
so that is
I have
if
to
you could
ride the
just
wave.
yes, I have to ride the wave, Mark. And if I trace my life back, that one thing has saved my life and my business on I can't dozens and dozens of occasions. And it's ruined me on a lot of occasions when I
Yeah,
haven't because I could trace back my biggest mistakes, the times I've wasted money, the times I've been hurt by people. Because I fall in love with
mm,
people and again, I'm emotional. I'm emotional projector. And I'm emo.
yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, I love you. We're going to be best friends. Yes, let's sign the business contract. You're going to be my assistant. Let's go. Oh, wait, you're not just my assistant. You're going to be my business partner. And I'm going to cut you in on 20% of all my books because I just love you so
yeah,
much. Oh, I might even write you into my will. You know what I mean? Like literally,
yeah,
I
yeah,
wrote someone that worked for me into my will, Mark. I can't even believe I just said that out loud. Okay. She
yeah.
doesn't work for me anymore. Okay. So
Spoiler
do you
alert.
see what am I doing? Right? Like, wow, Judy. Wow. Like slow. You like I at minimum need to sleep on things, but I need to
Yeah,
feel so do you. We need to
same.
feel into our decisions. And this isn't personal. We will likely know. It'll be like, oh, okay, it feels good. This feels right. Ooh, I like it, but I still have to make myself wait. I still have to make
Yeah,
myself wait. I have to ride the wave. I have to ride one high wave, one low wave. And once I've done that, then I can make a decision. So it is that alone, Mark. So this is why this stuff is so powerful. Again, coming back to
so
spirituality. Why isn't this taught in schools? Why isn't this on every business curriculum? Why does every
yeah,
leader not know who is like, I would want to
yeah,
know if I've got 10 projectors on my team. Yo, if I have a reflector, if I know these people are generators or whatever, like, and it's not like you're categorizing people, but then we can get into the intricacies and we start to realize, oh, it's not personal. It is vibrational. And this
yeah.
isn't for them. And this is why courses and speaker trainings and all these things that prescribe one way of doing things for people, it ain't, it's not true.
No. Well, and I think it like, at least for me, because I mean, I used to be in the corporate space like you as well, like, and especially in sales, like I just remember all of these trainings coming in around like personality types and what's your color and
Oh my gosh,
you
yes.
don't remember all that stuff. Like
No,
it's just it's too like there's great information there, but it's too complicated versus like what you're saying. Of course, individually you can go pretty deep in your profile, but just kind of remember how you think or how you make decisions and how like that's
that
where the
one
magic is,
thing.
like, the one thing, right? And then then becomes just second nature, and I agree, like, so let's talk about the corporations and teams and so forth, like, that's one element, but
Yeah.
we were jamming about this before we hit record, and I think we align on this, like, I especially in today's world where things are moving so fast and there's I mean, a bunch of tools, there's obviously AIs, like, every topic, every 5 seconds and so forth, there's, I think, a bunch positive, a bunch of unknown as well, but what I do know is most teams and most individuals within those teams are, like, maxed out mentally. It's like you can't take advantage of any of this stuff
No.
if your
No.
mind is literally in survival mode all the time. So,
Right.
how do we how do we bridge the gap of bringing literally stuff that's been around since the beginning of time and spirituality and, like, higher belief systems and just, like, calm people down so they can actually, I think,
Yeah.
enjoy what they do every day. Let's start there, forget
Yeah.
performance and productivity and all that jazz, but just be, like, emotionally good humans and feeling good more days than not, and then, like, we kinda cascades from there. So what's your take on this subject?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can begin, and I feel like this is, like, the essence of, like, the work I'm doing on stage as a corporate keynote. I feel like it's what I've always been doing. I use the arts. So, like you, spent a lot of time in corporate working, built a big career in corporate America, sales and marketing space, hotel industry, hospitality. Like that started in my blood almost. I was 13 years old when I got my first job in the hospitality, sort of like
Mm,
space. So I built a big career over there, but then I started doing improv on nights and weekends. So like you, I also have I'm an artist, I'm a creator, I'm a maker, I was like by day in the corporate boardrooms, but by night in Chicago in these dark dingy improv basements, right?
yeah,
And something really this is why I started my speaking business because I'm working in corporate and taking improv by night and I was like, "Oh my god." I just instantly started feeling really safe to be the
mm,
full, cringy, flawed, awesome, magical expression of myself, and it allowed us to make magic on stage. Like, improv really has a beautiful ability, and one of my favorite things about the improv theater, and really any artistic space, whether you're making a painting or learning stand-up comedy or in a writer's room or for slam poetry or learning improv, most art rooms, we'll just call them art rooms, have this like underground and underlying like subculture of like cringe. Like we kind of love it. Like we're all here to like look cringe together and to fail together and to like fuck it up together and to kind of
yeah,
like do that collectively, which makes us really brave. So I'm in these improv basements and like literally having teachers going, all right, tonight, guys, when you go up there, we got 10 people coming to the show tonight. We're like, 10 people, oh no, like back sweat, like, oh no. Like we got 10 people. And here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna go out there tonight, and it's not be awesome, be amazing, crush. They would be like, these teachers would be like, we're gonna go out there tonight and we are gonna fail so hard. We are gonna bomb so big and it's gonna be amazing. And I'm sitting here like corporate Judi, like I'm with all these kids. A lot of them were wanting to be on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Like I was
yeah, yeah,
30 and I felt like a
yeah.
fossil, Mark. I'm like grandma, at 30. I almost didn't go. I actually quit the first time and it took me 2 years to go back. So I went back at 32. So I'm 32 and I'm taking improv and all this stuff and all these kids. And they're all like, okay, yeah, we're going to fail. But inside corporate Barbie Judy's going, what do you mean fail? Like I'm wearing suits and like pantyhose still to work. Like what is going on? Like fail. But I would do it and we'd fail. And when we would fail, when we would mess up, we'd get the biggest laughs. It would be like
Mm,
roars. It would be magic. We'd all let our guard down because the audience saw human. The
yeah,
audience laughed at the human moment. And I think they see improv specifically because that's my experience. So I can speak to that. We look at improvisers on stage that do this like magical stuff, whether it's gamey improv or long form improv, whatever we're seeing on stage, we're like, oh my God, how do they do that? They're like superhuman. There's no way. It's like, this is like from another world. And it doesn't feel relatable. And then all of a sudden they see the human moment and they see us mess up and they see us not get it right or pull something wrong or just whatever air quotes wrong because there's no mistakes, only gifts in improv. They laugh at it and they lean into it and it gives us the biggest roar because they're like, oh well, they're just like us, they're human, and
yeah,
I can laugh at that because I know that joke, or I've made that mistake before, and I love that we've caught them in a vulnerable
mm,
moment, and that is awesome. So that that training night after night, week after week, year after year bled over into the boardroom. You see what I'm saying? And I started realizing that, oh my gosh, if I can do this in the improv theater, I can make these moves on my own behalf inside of corporate. But I was also like, here's what we have wrong here. No one's speaking up inside of this organization because they're afraid to get it wrong. We're overthinking, we're underacting. Teams don't feel safe to really be who they are. We're so afraid to make mistakes. We don't want to fail. Anytime we miss a target, we get pulled into a boardroom and be kind of berated for everything we got wrong. I'm like, yo, what if we could flip it? What if instead of these like sales meetings about targets we missed, we started throwing failure parties and celebrating how we're better because of it? And we got cake pops and confetti and music and we vibed it up and we like took our power back from that failure and we made it like the superpower, right? And so in yeah, like where how do we create environments where people feel safe to like F it up and to make
Yeah,
mistakes and to get it wrong so we can get closer to getting it right? Because that's the real truth about innovation. Like we everybody says they want innovation and creativity and all this stuff, but they're clicking copy and paste. They're doing things the same way they've done it. They're hiring all the same speakers. Like they're not pulling from the outside. They're not going to the hotel lobby once a week. What if once a
yeah.
week you took like, I read a post on LinkedIn the other day from an incredible woman named Julie Turpin with Brown and Brown Insurance, past client of mine. They're amazing. Her CEO told her, he goes, I need to see at least 4 hours of free time on your calendar every week, mandatory. I need you to
Mhm.
go think. She's the
Yeah,
chief people officer of their organization. He goes, I need white space on your calendar. And if it's not there, we're gonna have a problem. And if you go on vacation and you respond to me, we're gonna have a problem.
yeah, yeah.
Like
That's what we
that has
need.
to come from the top down, right? But and
Yeah,
now we're creating cultures of people where we're like, ooh, we can make moves, we can go be on vacation. Like, what if instead of checks, we started incentivizing people and rewarding them for not checking email? What if we had a Zoom free Monday? What could we get done? What could we create?
mhm.
Who could we be? What if we said, ooh, we're gonna run everybody's human life? We're gonna bring in a human design speaker and we're gonna
Yeah.
teach people
Whoo,
about
look
this, right?
out.
Like what? Like what? Right? And some people are gonna be in for it, and so this is gonna be uncomfortable. So this is where courage and getting comfortable in the discomfort happens. So I think these are the things I'm playing with to answer your question inside of corporate and on stage. I'm sort of like using the arts to help people think differently about the way we've done things. And I think
Yeah,
there is a spectrum here that we can certainly talk about, but I think it starts with how do we start. It starts by starting. I think it starts by looking at things differently and having a perspective and a point of view and getting out of the office and having leaders who choose and are brave enough to bring things in from the outside. Leaders who are brave enough to say, let's wake up the humanity inside this organization and, you know, let people really be themselves. And of course, there's a spectrum here because chaos is too much. This isn't about being a
sure.
jerk or going rogue, and camouflage isn't enough. So the line drive is always courage. So, how do we help people feel more brave to be themselves? And how do I create a culture around me where people feel brave to be themselves? Like the CEO saying, I need 4 hours of white space at minimum. And I can't wait to hear
Yeah,
what you learned. Tell me what you're
yeah,
reading. What's inspiring you right now? Oh my gosh, what'd you learn in
yeah,
Spain? How can we take what you learned in that trip in Spain and pump that into our presentations? Or maybe we do something fun in our office. Like I don't know, you get what I'm saying, but we have like
yeah,
artists, we have a point of view, we have a perspective, and we pull from the outside to light up our work on the inside. And most people couldn't clearly articulate, they could say their mission statement, but they couldn't really tell you what inspires them. Like you, the
yeah,
human, what are you
yeah,
inspired by right now? Like really, truly, like what are you inspired by? And where does that show up in your work and in your life
yeah.
and in your aura and in your conversations? Because that's what's going to make you original. You.
Well, and this is what so part of me is thinks part of me is inspired because I think we have one part of the equation where I think most people understand, like, intellectually understand that, yeah, if I take some time to think or when I have my greatest ideas, it's usually when my mind is quieter. It's when I'm on the run or in the shower, like, people have had those
Totally.
experiences. But it's the other side of the equation where the environment, especially in the corporate world, for the most part, it just doesn't support that. Like, so that and that's what you're saying, like, that's where and I wonder what your perspective is on this. Like, for me, I think we just need to your point, we need to start and we need to find the ones that are open, and then I my my projection is that, or prediction, I guess I should say, is that then people start noticing, and it's like kind of like meditation even 5 years ago. I mean, it's still coming along, but it was like there was this whole wave I remember where everyone, like these leaders and CEOs, they started talking about it like, oh yeah, it's like it was like their secret practice. No one knew. Be like, oh yeah, I've been meditating for like 50
Wow.
years. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like, so we're
Totally.
just talking about that now, you know? So I
Yes.
feel like that whole vibe needs to kind of happen. Then obviously you can't ignore it. And the results obviously come with that as well. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I still feel like you've got leadership teams and C-suites, they say all the right things,
Yep, but
but
they don't
then
do it. They don't put it into practice, and it's
no.
not safe. It's really truly not a part of culture. It looks good on paper, but it's not really happening. So I think in that case, to your point, this is where self-leadership is so critical. We can't
Mm,
change, and look at this isn't about quitting your job. Not everybody's meant to
yeah,
be in a create like not everybody's meant to just go, paint or write books or what be an entrepreneur. We need incredible people inside of our incredible organizations. This is about not quitting on yourself. So if it's not like, what can we control? This is where self leadership is such an important piece of this. I've been in these corporate environments. I've worked in
yeah,
them. I've worked for leaders who really get it. I worked for leaders who haven't. But I've always taken in like ownership of it. Right. So I'm in corporate. I signed myself up for those improv classes. I
yeah, yeah.
chose to recreate. One of the things I talk about in my six, I have these six things I teach in my methodology. Holler, the R is recreation. Like, you
Mm,
have to recreate to recreate. And I literally was like, I'm in a rut, not really loving my boss, not feeling free, not feeling creative, don't really have a lot of friends in the city. What can I do to tap out of that? It's my job. And I love my job and I need my job. So I don't want to quit my job. I just don't want to lose my mind. So I had to figure out what it is for me. And I didn't want it to be out at the bars every weekend. And I like to go have fun and all that, but I needed something creatively. And I signed up for those improv classes, quit the first time, went back the second time. And the reason I'm telling you that is that one decision, that one self leadership choice to take ownership of the fact that wasn't happy, didn't necessarily love my boss, wasn't loving the vibes of the environment, but I knew I was responsible for that one choice to recreate, to go take a fun improv class, literally recreated my whole life.
yeah. Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Human
yeah,
design. That one yes I gave to that human design is my new improv almost. That's how hype I am about it. And I have the gate of enthusiasm in my human design chart. So when I get hype, like I literally improv changed my life. I was like, you got to let me lead the sales meeting. You got to let me talk at every conference. I mean, I would speak for free anywhere I could to anyone who would listen to me about freaking improv theater. And I still talk about it. I still use it on stage. Human design is that for me now because someone I said yes. I was like, oh, I'm searching for something outside of me. I'm miserable. I'm a little depressed. I'm a little dark. I need tools. So I was doing all these sitting with healers, all these fun things outside of me. Like I said, the Sedona trips, all the stuff. But then I met human design. That one yes, that little form of recreation, that choice to study and take courses and read books is literally recreated my life and my business. It brought me back home to myself, the most important job we could ever really take on in life. So whether it's human design
mm,
or something else, you will anything you don't like will be recreated in your choice to recreate because it takes us all the way to the top of the methodology, which the H's have a perspective. Be inspired by things. What's your point of view? So every time you recreate, you now have a new point of view. And you're like,
yeah,
oh, here we go again. I'm changing. We kind of like have this like ongoing conversation with ourselves because it's a lifelong pursuit of growth and change and reinvention, right? And so recreation is massive. So to the corporate person who might feel stuck, you're never really stuck because you can always do one thing. You can always do the next thing. And I think stuck is sort of a conditioning, a limiting belief, an excuse,
yeah,
a fear. So we're not really stuck. We can always do something. So maybe you need to do something with that remote day. If you get Mondays and Fridays off, you're taking your booty somewhere to the Four Seasons on Fridays and you're going to start working in that lobby, right? Or whatever it is, right?
oh
You're going to
yeah,
go somewhere dope, right? You're going to make a different choice. You're going to remix the record. You're going to start brushing your teeth with your left hand. You're going to start, you see what I'm saying? Like we
yeah,
got to jerk the system. We got to like we got to scratch the record a little bit. And we've got to kind of be, it's so cheesy, but it's like true. It's like, oh, now I get it. Be the change you want to see. And then people will start to notice in you. You'll be more creative, you'll be more responsive, you'll be more calm, you won't be as reactive. Maybe you'll start throwing out really dope ideas for these presentations. You'll start crushing your sales presentations at work. People start noticing. And then you start to bring these tools to your boss and they start to like it. And then all of a sudden it becomes their idea. And you're like, great, that's just what I needed, right? Like, how do I make it like, look, I don't know. We can play all these games, but I think you can only control you, right? And if you're in a toxic environment, you reserve the right to leave anytime. But I would just go get it for myself. And that one choice to recreate 16 years ago now literally changed my whole life, Mark. And so I'm always on that pursuit of what's the next adventure? What's the next game? What am I learning?
Mhm.
What am I, how am I painting the canvas of my life this year? So
Yes, I
someone else
love
doesn't
it.
paint it. I don't want
Well, I
anybody
was
else
gonna
painting my
say
canvas.
like, when you said, like, what's the next thing, what's the next level? I mean, you were asking that question at one point, but now you're the one answering the question, right? Like, that's the difference,
What do I think?
between totally. Last question for you, because, if we follow our trend, I'll probably interview you, in a year from now. So, when you
I
come
love it.
back and answer the "Who am I?" question, I guess the question I have for you right now is, who are you becoming?
Mm, who am I becoming? The fullest expression
Mm,
of who I came here to be.
boom.
Designed by the greatest creator of all time, God, whatever your God is, whatever you believe in. I
Yeah,
believe that's the greatest creator of all time. I have a belief in something bigger than me. I am becoming the fullest expression of that piece of art that I am.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Judy, thank you so much for just, of course, your energy and taking the missteps for us so that we can learn from you, and you being vulnerable and sharing. I mean, I mentioned this before we hit record. I mean, that Friday, speaking of Fridays and how impactful they are for you. I mean, when I get your newsletter every Friday, it's just like it's like a hit to the soul and the heart
Mm.
in all the good ways. So thank you for
Thank
what
you,
you
Mark.
do day in and day out. And everyone listening, I mean, for longtime listeners of the show, Judy, and but make sure to check out. She's got some new stuff, the soul maps, the book, the like. Just do yourself a favor and get in the Judy ecosystem. You will not regret it. So
We'll link all the
thanks
things.
to
Thank
you.
you for that love. My gosh. Thank you, Mark. You're an awesome interviewer. You are now one of my new favorite projectors. And just thank you for having me back. And if you've heard me here before, it's so great to be back with you. Thanks for listening.